Hey, how's it going? This is Mr. Hernandez, and I had a few requests to go over this IXL L3 translations, finding the coordinates. So I'm going to go ahead and go over this. Um, what I want you to notice is that it's kind of similar to the last IXL that you did by moving the shape, except now, because you're moving in two different directions. Now, the important thing to know is if you're going to the right, that is an X direction. And if you're going up, that is a Y direction. Now, if you're going to the right, that is a positive X direction. So we're actually going to basically add this 2 here, plus 2 in the X position, the X coordinate. And this one is going up, which is another positive. So this means we're going to add 3 to the Y. Now here's what I mean. So each of these points here, so here's S, this is the X, this is the X for point T and point U. And here are the Y's for each of those 3 points. Now, if I look at U right here, I'm circling U, that point is at -10, 0, because this point right here is basically from the origin 10 to the left, nothing up and down. That's why the Y is 0. So if I do these two things here, these are what I need to do to the point U. So U is -10, 0. So I'm going to add, because this is the X, I'm going to add 2 to the X. And because this is the Y, I'm going to add 3 to the Y. And so that means that, let's see, -10 and +2, those are different signs. I'm going to take the sign of the bigger number. I'm going to subtract because the signs are different and take the sign of the bigger number. And so notice that I got this 8 from combining the coordinate that was given to us, -10, the X coordinate, and because I'm going 2 to the right, I'm adding 2. And that's why I get -10 plus 2. All right. The next one, 0, is the original Y coordinate, but I'm moving it 3 up, which means +3. So that is going to be just 3. And so that would be the new coordinates for U prime after I moved it, because this represents moving it 2 to the right, which is the X coordinate, and 3 up, which is the Y coordinate. Okay, so that is going to go here, -8, 3. Let's do another one. How about S? So S, the X is -9, the Y is -5. So I'm just going to color code that. This is the X and this is the Y. Again, here's the directions here, right here. These are the directions. So if I'm going to move 2 to the right, I'm going to add 2. And if I'm going to move 3 up, I'm going to add 3. So these are the directions here that we're going to add to the point. So that means my new point, S prime, will be -9. So -9 and a +2, that's -7 if you subtract and take the sign of the bigger number. Now if I'm going to focus on the Y's, -5 and +3, those are different signs. I'm going to subtract, take the sign of the bigger number, and that will be S. Okay. And I won't do the last one, but I'm going to skip ahead. And this one's moving 2 down. Okay, this is a good example. Now, if we're going down, that is the Y direction. So if we're going 2 down, that's going to be -2 for the Y direction. So if I look at this, S is 0, -5. Notice there's nothing up here with the X. There's no X that's being brought up. So we are not going to do anything with the X. But the Y, it says going 2 down. So I'm going to subtract 2 on the Y. This represents 2 down. If there were directions to go left or right, we would actually add or subtract depending on what the x direction was saying. Okay, so the new position of s, s prime, well, there's nothing to add to the x, so it's 0. And the y, those are same signs, so we're going to add and keep it negative. Oops. That's a parenthesis. So s prime would be 0, -7. And so for this one, again, because it's only given a y direction, we are only focusing on these numbers here. And we were going to subtract 2 each time. So -4 minus 2, that's -6. +1 minus 2 is -1. -4 minus 2 is -6. And then all the x's are going to stay the same. So again, there's nothing brought up in the directions about moving it right or left. So all of these are going to stay the same. So 4, 0, and -4. And of course, if I graph this is like the last IXL that you did. Each of these points is going to move 2 down. So this is U prime is going to be here. T prime is going to be here. Here's S prime is going to go here. V prime is going to go here. And I'll make this red. This would be the actual new image after you moved everything 2 down. So this looks like what I just drew is like the last IXL, drawing it. But now you could actually draw it and imagine it, or you could just, do the algebra, which is right here, and whatever these directions tell you to do, you add or subtract those to the x or y, whatever direction they're telling you. All right, I hope that helps, and good luck.